Hi guys, welcome back to the education section. In this video I'm going to touch on what makes up our energy expenditure. Something that is super valuable to have the awareness of. And the reason being is if we can understand the tools that promote weight gain and weight loss or weight maintenance, and we can know kind of which one is more important than others, or which ones I should say is more important than others to maybe adjust, utilise and kind of take into consideration, we can therefore manipulate and spend time adjusting the variables that will give us the most reward when it comes to fat loss or weight gain or weight maintenance. And additionally, not only will it allow us to see what's gonna give us the most significant return, the most return for our investment, but also what's gonna give us the marginal gains as well. Because if you are maximising the basics, you want to get more out of your progress, you can consider maybe more minute variables. And this is what I'm going to be going over, simply what makes up the amount of calories we burn on a daily basis. So, jumping into it, what makes up our energy expenditure is our BMR, which is our basal metabolic rate, which makes up 70%. Then we've got our NEAT, which is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which makes up 15%. The thermic effect of food, which will make up another 10%, and lastly, it's your exercise activity thermogenesis, which is 5%. So these terms might seem a bit confusing and kind of just a bit overwhelming at first, but I'll dive into what each means and why knowing each is valuable and how we can potentially adjust each accordingly. And something to bear in mind is these figures are roughly, you're not going to burn exactly 70% through your BMR of your calories burned on a daily basis, but this is roughly, and you don't need to know it exactly. It's not really valuable knowing the exact amount, really. You don't need to be that accurate, because unless your days look exactly the same, you do the exact amount of steps on a daily basis, and you don't need to know for that level of detail. And your basal metabolic rate, or in other words your BMR, is simply the amount of calories your body burns on a daily basis, just performing life-sustaining tasks. Just simply the amount of calories you burn at rest to function, just keeping yourself kind of alive, your heart beating, etc. So this doesn't include exercise, this doesn't include doing steps, this doesn't include eating food, simply just sitting on a chair, and just being alive. That's the way to look at it. And that makes up 70% of the calories you burn on a daily basis, which is an awful lot for not doing exercise. And there's a lot of things that will influence our BMR. So the amount of calories we burn pretty much doing nothing is a good way to look at it. So our lean body mass is the greatest contributor. So how much kind of muscle mass we have. And the reason why this is so valuable to know is if we know exactly kind of our BMR makes up 70%, and building muscles or having a lot of muscles is the main factor, then we know, if I want to kind of maybe eat more calories on a daily basis or have a maintainable body weight, something that's going to really help that is having a lot of muscle mass for the result of that, or trying to build muscle at least. So that's why, if you're going about exercise, a considerations maybe do something that's going to promote at least maintaining your muscle mass, because if folk try and lose weight, they are eating less calories than they're burning, so they're dieting. They're putting themselves in a position where they're not going to ideally retain much muscle if they're not doing much kind of weight training or anything that's going to retain muscle mass and promote that. So therefore, their calorie maintenance is going to go lower and lower. And as a result, that's 70% is going to be less. They're going to burn less calories. And if it makes up that big a amount, and the main contributor, which I researched before recording this video, the main factor is your lean body mass, then if you're decreasing that, then that's really not ideal. So that's why weight training is super valuable if your goal is to kind of improve your body composition and be leaner. And just for your general health, it's only going to benefit you. And your age as well. So typically what you'll find is when you grow older, your basal metabolic rate and just how much calories you burn as a whole will decrease. And genetics can play a role. You'll get individuals who naturally just fidget more, move more without even thinking about it, and just individuals, that wouldn't be classed as BMR actually, but people who just kind of burn more calories, and it's just due to their genetic makeup. Some people are like that, some people just are naturally maybe eat more and don't move as much, etc. And you've got your gender. Typically, males will burn more calories than females at rest. Again, that could maybe be to do with their overall amount of muscle they have, and also just usually being bigger individuals, height-wise. And also, like, your diet can influence it as well. Like, if you're dieting, for example, your BMR might potentially decrease, your resting heart rate will decrease, and you're generally a more efficient individual at utilising calories when you're kind of dieting, for example. And also, some drugs like caffeine and also like nicotine can increase our BMR. So, like stimulants, for example, that just means we burn a bit more calories at rest. Our heart rate's typically higher as well, which will influence that. And also like hormonal imbalances. So, if someone's, let's say, went through a contest prep, their hormones might not be in a good spot. Their thyroid might not be functioning as well, which regulates how much calories you burn. And also like environmental factors as well. So if you're really hot or really cold, to regulate your body temperature, you're going to burn more calories to get yourself at that kind of appropriate spot you want to be at. Whereas if you're already at that, your room temperature's constantly spot on, then you're not going to burn as much calories. But the main thing to kind of take from your BMR here is most of your calories come from, or that you burn on a daily basis, don't actually come from exercise. And lean body mass is the greatest contributor. So the greatest tool we can basically utilise to increase our BMR, or basal metabolic rate. And as for NEAT is our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is basically energy expended in everything we do that's not kind of sleeping, eating or exercise. So just basically think about any time you're doing any sort of kind of movement or burning calories without actually doing purposeful exercise. So some things this could include is things like steps. Steps, I wouldn't, it's a tricky one. You could argue that's kind of purposeful exercise, but considering like it, unless we're purposely going a walk, then that's a bit different. But just generally like walking to the toilet, walking to the kitchen, going to work, things like that, that's generally like NEAT, just going about your daily tasks. And like whenever you fidget as well, so if like you're sitting bouncing your leg while you're at your desk at work, or you're moving your head about, maybe listening to music and doing that for whatever reason, or if you're just standing or just moving anything in your body, it's like if I'm swinging about in my chair backwards and forwards or side to side, that's NEAT, that's non-exercise activity thermogenesis, because I don't think this quite classed as exercise doing this right now. Yeah, and any other activities that burn calories other than resting, if that makes sense. So not the gym. And this is the second largest contributor towards how much calories you burn at 15%. And your body's smart. So when dieting, your body tries to preserve energy. Your body doesn't want to be in a calorie deficit. Your body doesn't want to lose weight. So your body will try and lower your NEAT accordingly. So lower how much calories you're burning, not through exercise. So this is why like a step goal can be valuable during a dieting phase, because generally if you're dieting, your body doesn't want to kind of lose weight. Your body wants to be at homeostasis, so your body wants to maintain weight. So if, let's say, we're dieting, we're kind of slowly kind of starving ourselves to an extent, which isn't really great for your body. So your body will take actions to try and prevent that. For example, if you've done like a long diet before or a quite aggressive diet, you might find you're tired and you might find yourself, your legs feel heavier. You're consciously like kind of leaning on things, leaning on surfaces, helping yourself a bit more when you get up. You're not bouncing about the place the same. You're not buzzing, if that makes sense. You've got less energy. So see if I'm sitting like this half the day because I'm dieting for like a bodybuilding show, I'm preserving energy. I'm not burning as much calories. So be mindful of that, and that's why a step goal can be valuable. Because if, let's say, you're dieting, you do purposeful cardio, you purposely kind of like try and maybe eat less, but you're actually kind of slouching, not burning as much calories by preserving energy in that regard, you might actually be putting yourself back at maintenance and kind of counteracting the benefit of that cardio. So be mindful of that, and that's the benefit of a step goal. And since NEAT makes up like 15%, obviously that's quite a large percent, so that's something to be mindful of, because you don't want to kind of, as I'll get to, hammer yourself with cardio, although that makes up a small percentage, just to kind of move less during NEAT, if that makes sense. So basically, activity outside the gym. Next, we've got the thermic effect of food. So this is basically the amount of energy your body takes to digest, absorb, metabolize and utilise the food we're typically consuming on a daily basis. And with a standard healthy diet, which we'll get back to, it will make up around 10% of your expenditure, 10% of your calories that you burn. So a bit smaller than the other two, of course. A bit smaller than meat at 15%. So what will influence how much kind of calories you burn digesting food is largely going to be your macronutrient consumption. So if you don't know already, what makes up what calories you burn, what makes up food is basically fat, carbs, and also protein. They're the three macronutrients, they're the three food groups. So fat contains the most calories, carbs contain 4, protein contains 4 as well. And with fat we consume, or we require the least amount of calories to actually digest it. What I mean by that is, like fat, for example, like the amount of calories we'll use to digest, let's say, a gram of fat is 0.0 to 3%, which is very, very small. So if we have 100 calories through fat, then we will burn 3 calories digesting that. Whereas carbohydrates, we will burn 5 to 10% of the calories we burn digesting it. So if we kind of consume, let's say, 100 grams or 100 calories of carbs, then we may burn up to 10% of those calories already. So we might only be, you could say, we're consuming 100, but we're all only getting 90 calories from that. As for protein, which is really, really interesting, it's got 4 calories again, but we burn 20 to 30% of the calories digesting it. So if we have 100 calories worth of protein, we're actually burning 20 to 30 calories digesting it. So we might be left with 70 calories. And the reason this is beneficial is you could you could consume more food, still lose weight, depending on what food you're eating. Thanks very much for watching. The full video is available for my online coaching clients in the Coach by Charlie education section. If you're interested in online coaching, then feel free to apply via the link in the description. If you did enjoy the video, please like, subscribe and ring the notification bell for my future videos. Thanks very much for watching.